I'm Quentin Ward, and this is Maggie Buckner, and we're back again to talk about the Farm Bill for our University of Portland's honors program. I'm going to provide a little brief history of the Farm Bill, and then Maggie's going to provide some current analysis of the one in the House right now. In the 19th century, the U.S. Congress passed a lot of legislation about farms. They started allocating supplies to farmers to make them more efficient, giving them money, specifically in the Morrill Act, which made schools starting to study agriculture and raised awareness for farmers. And because of this legislation, farmers began to get really, really wealthy. And because farmers started to get really, really wealthy, they started to buy more land. And through this process of getting more land, more money, then more land, it enabled huge farms to pop up that you see nowadays, where it's not just 1 or 2 acres, but it's hundreds and hundreds of acres. And then in the 1920s, 30s, the Great Depression happened, and farmers started going under now. And so people are like, oh no, they are the backbone of the United States, so we got to help them out. And this is where even more subsidies came in, and this is where the Farm Bill started to originate in its current form, because they wanted to stop farmers from producing too much, because that's what happened is farmers produced way too many crops, which made the price drop, and then farmers lost all their money.
It also screwed up the soil and caused the Dust Bowl.
Yeah, that was fun. And so the United States Congress pushed forward this legislation in an effort to minimize the amount of food and crops that are being produced. And in essence, they pay you to produce less. This is actually a very hot topic in the current piece of legislation, which Maggie will get to later. And then in 1932, the Democrats took over the Congress, and FDR, I'm pretty sure everyone knows about him, was a very forward-thinking guy, passed a lot of legislation, including the Agricultural Adjustment Act, which is one of the most important things about this bill today, in that it makes sure that no cheating occurs with the subsidy system, and it was actually eventually declared unconstitutional, but that did not stop FDR, because he actually made a different version that would eventually stand up with the Constitution in 1938. And that was incentives instead of a direct subsidy, which instead of the government buying land from farmers, it actually just paid them straight out to not produce on so many acres. And so farmers wanted to make sure, they keep this continued, because they get paid to literally do nothing. Think about it, if someone were to pay you just to sit on the couch all day with land, in the back corner. I'd take that. I would actually enjoy that a lot. It'd be pretty cool. Let's be honest here. And so they really wanted to get their benefits, so they started a lobby, and lobbies are very successful, and so they kept getting these subsidies renewed every year. More subsidies were added on top of them. And so now we have this huge bill called the Farm Bill, which is what we're going to be talking about today. And it changed drastically in 1964 when Lyndon Baines Johnson came in and decided to add the food stamp program into the Farm Bill. And that is one of the most controversial subjects today in the current Farm Bill. So you talk about that.
Alrighty. So the Farm Bill has typically been bipartisan because they had to compromise to get the different subsidies and payments for the groups that both the Democrats and the Republicans align with in the electorate. And so the Farm Bill is made up of subsidies, crop insurance, and then I think there's some environmental conservation stuff in there, but a high amount of it goes to the Nutrition Assistant Programs, or SNAP, which is typically known as food stamps. the Republicans always, for the most part, want to cut down on the amount we spend on food stamps. And a lot of people, or a bunch of the subsidies are actually received by groups that don't live on farms, and like they might own the land and then they live in a city and get paid to not do anything with their land that they're probably not doing anything with anyways. And then recently the House tried to split the Farm Bill and split the Farm Bill into different parts, with the food stamps going into one bill and then all of the stuff that was directly farm into another bill. And they passed them, but the Senate didn't quite like it, and so they were not able to pass a bill in time with the previous one expiring. And so they're going through a lot of talks trying to reconcile the two bills and figure out how they're going to do the subsidies and food stamps, which the money for food stamps that's being given for food stamps has dropped because of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Hope this makes you more informed about the current issues that surround us today. Once again, this is Quinn Ward and Maggie Bruckner.